Hello and welcome to ARK, the complete series. Today we're up in the far northwest of the map, right up there. We're actually near to where the blue beacon is, and that's because we're actually going to go in search of an artifact. We've actually got enough artifacts to take on the Megapithecus. Well, the trouble is I still don't have a decent Rex army yet. So I've come all the way out here to get another of the artifacts, and that's what one that you'll be using against the dragon. Well, you don't actually use it against it really, you just use it to summon the dragon. But I mean, the place is pretty easy enough to find. If you come out where the blue beacon is up there, head down to the coast, and then there's this path that leads down. Now, fortunately, there was actually a Utri over here when I turned up, but it went off the edge. It's since gone now. But we're going to give this a try, have a look and see what we can see in this cave. It's a pretty small cave, to be honest. I mean, normally, I've done this before. I've done it on single player, and the problem is the artifact just never summons for some strange reason. There's a known problem on single player. I've never been able to get the actual achievement from it because of that, until I actually went onto the center map, and then got it while I was on the center map. So I don't know why it's been there for a long time, but for whatever reason, Wildcard don't seem all that concerned about it. They don't seem to want to fix it. I mean, I'm not the only person who's had the issue, so yeah. But anyway, when I've done this before, I've usually been all a bit bothered, like, of having to leave an RG out here because anything could come over the edge. I mean, you've got like Argentavis. There was one over there somewhere. I mean, that could come down and give you grief, and then you could come out. Next thing you know, your RG's way up there somewhere, which has always been a pain. But fortunately, we've actually got cryopods now. So, I'm going to pop Rainbow into a cryopod. I'm kind of kicking myself because we actually went to get some more cryopods. I forgot to empty her pockets while I was there, and there's a ton of sort of... yeah, it's obsidian that I've left there now because it's a case of I can't really bring it with me. But what I've done here is I've got myself a sleeping bag, and I've got myself a personal grave. Now, what I used to do when I was on single player, I used to use one of these. It's a corpse finder. The problem is when you go into caves like this, sometimes your body can actually, well, if you get killed in one of these caves, the problem is your body can actually end up under the surface, and you'll never be able to get your items back. It's pretty brutal, that, I think, for the game. I don't know why they allow that, but you had that mod which allows you to then basically it allows you to bring the body to the actual surface, if you will, or at least within the cave. So it would allow me to go back into the cave, go to where the body was, use that corpse finding to bring your body and its contents back to the surface. But using the corpse finder here is well, not the corpse finder, the personal grave is a bit easier. Now, hopefully we won't actually be needing that. Now, it's pretty dark in here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the torch out. Now, we can't get into this cave here. It just won't let me in. I've got to crouch. Now, when I've done this before, I've always come in on my own. But the trouble is, I just don't have the gear. You can see there's a few bits of armour that I've got here. They're just not good enough for the job. The shotgun either. That also, it's just not really up to scratch. So I'm going to try a little test. I've brought along two dinos. I've got the Sabertooth, and I've got the Thylacoleo, but to be honest, looking at this place, I don't see me being able to get a Thylacoleo out into here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if we can get... it's Jasmine, isn't it? Yes, Jasmine. We're going to see if we can get Jasmine out of a cryopod into here. Ah, so that worked. Well, that's a good sign. Actually, that's a thought. I've just realised something. Last time I was doing this cave entrance was a lot lower. I used to have to... I'm sure I used to have to get down on my belly and crawl along the floor. Whereas this time I just had to crouch. Oh, that's new. Okay, well, anyway, oh, that's not good. Oh, blimey, you nearly went under the surf. Oh, that's something you're going to have to bear in mind. Now, what I could do is I could use bug repellent. I'd have to use that on me, I'd have to use it on the otter, and I'd have to use it on the Sabertooth. Because in here you've got bats and you've got spiders. Now, if you've got that bug repellent on, they'll ignore you. So, let's just see how far we can get. Right, straight up there's a... You can probably just about make that out. There's a little crevasse down there. If you fall down there, you're toast. You'll never get back out, you'll die. So you've got to be really, really careful with your footing around here. Now I can see I can't get through there. At least not on the Sabertooth. There's some spiders down there. We can't... Oh, just about got through there, I think. Just about. Or did we? Okay. And there's another crevasse down there. I'm going to have to be careful because of the height of this ceiling. Because if I want to get up, I could end up getting stuck. So that's something else I'm going to have to bear in mind. But yeah, there's another crevasse. Yo. I mean, you can literally grapple across these things. If you come in on your own and you find things like spiders around there, you can always just shoot them and you can pull them and they'll end up pulling themselves into the... Well, they'll literally jump into the ravine and you'll be rid of them. So I'd always use that environment in your favour. So there, for instance, there's some spiders over there, so...
That'll be the mark.
Okay. So they basically end up jumping off the edge there, so that's a good thing. Oh, this doesn't sound good. It's an eerie cave, I'll give it that. The cave is seriously eerie. It just gives me the willies, that place. Right, so I think we're kind of like... I think we're at our limit. I can't see me getting much further with the Sabertooth, unfortunately. Unless maybe you pull things over. I mean, if I go... Oh, well, that's the exit. Yes, I don't really want to go in that direction, do I? Right, so there's a crevasse there. I don't want to go down there. Oh, I'm going to have to crouch. That takes you back to the crevasse. I'm not really seeing much. I mean, there's some... I think you can get crystal out of these, I think. There's some of these, I'm sure... Well, yeah, you can get crystal out of things like that. But I'm not seeing anything like explorer notes. I mean, there's metal, but I can't see much point in harvesting any metal around here. So there's a crevasse you can jump across. Assuming I can hit this thing, I'm going to pull it across. Come on, come on. Go and jump off the edge. So you can always grapple to, you know, places like over there and what have you, but to be honest, this is because I've got the otter. I just wouldn't want to risk it, to be honest. It's not. I don't think it's worth it. All I'm interested in this cave is just getting the artifact, quite frankly. But you've got to be really, really careful that you don't end up... I think I'm going the wrong direction. You got to be... Oh, I'm in the right direction. You got to be really, really careful that you don't end up, you know, falling into a crevasse on here. I mean, there's times I remember I've been down in this sort of place and I've grappled my way out and then I've like hit the wall in the process and then that's killed me. So it's... I don't think it's worth it. It's just not worth it. Right, so tell you what, seeing as the time has expired, Let's see if we can pop you into another cryopod. See if we can get a bit further and pop you back out again. Because I want to take advantage of her as much as I can. I mean, this is a pretty big area, so we could pop her out, but we wouldn't be able to get through there, I don't think. Oh, that's good. I can hear the artifact. I can hear the artifact. Right, so there are bats over there. I know that's for certain. Right, tell you what. Let's play it safe. You grab one of these. Right. I feel a bit safer now. I mean, the spiders and the bugs don't come after you, but I think if you get too close, they will. I can hear them things, and they're really giving me the willies. Right, I'm going to take a gamble. Now the trouble is, if this could go pear-shaped, because I'm going to pop her out of a cryopod. She doesn't have any bug repellent on her, and the bats will go for her. But I don't see a way of getting past them. I don't think. Because basically in this cave, if you want to go after the artifact, you just keep to the right. And I can see over there, you can see where the waves are for where the artifact is, so I need to come down here. So I'm going to take a bit of a gamble. We'll get her out. Oh. There you go. Right.
Don't get yourself killed, pal.
That wasn't the plan. Oh, that was a dumb idea. Okay, so that didn't exactly go to plan. Ah! That's why you need a decent shotgun. Oh, come on. Right, what state are you in? Oh, blimey, you took a heck of a battering there. Yeah, I mean, you can... I'm like having reservations. I mean, I think it helps having the Sabertooth, but she's taking a serious battering here. Right, so what I'm going to do... Oh, I can't get off now. I've got to watch the problem is, it's the ceiling. Right. Oh! Right, she'll get a bit of a resistance, at least while I'm on top of her. I think it would have been better if I hadn't... if I'd popped her out, it would have been better if I had jumped straight on top of her, because then she gets like a resistance for her, from it. Right, so I'm going to get something to eat. You've got some food, so I'll give you the rest of that while we're here. Right, you stay put, because I need to head up here. Oh! Struth, walked straight into a blooming spider. And notice it didn't really bother, it wasn't bothered by me because I've got this bug repellent on. Oh, I can hear something else in there. There's no way I'd be able to take a Sabertooth in here. Right, let the otter finish that off. So there you go. Ah, right, so there's a spider down there. We'll get rid of that. So there's the artifact. Now, as I say, whenever I've done it... Oh, I think there's some over there. Oh no, it's not, it's just a reflection. Whenever I've come down here on single player, that has never showed up. I mean, I've sort of like, I've stopped the game, restarted the game, I've gone away, come back, I've cleared the place out, I've killed every single dino in here, I've harvested every single resource, come back. Eventually things do respawn, but for whatever reason I could never get that artifact to actually turn up. So, as far as I'm aware, I don't think I can get close enough to reach it. I've got to be really, really careful, because you can see it's a bit of a tight corner. I want to see that. There we go. Aha! Now that's good, that. You can actually just literally get off. You've got to be very, very careful, because there's a very confined space between you and the artifact, and you don't want to fall into that cavern there. But I just crouched down there, and I just kind of snuck up on it, and it eventually it managed to get me, allow me to get access to it. Now, basically, all I'm interested in now is this artifact. Pop you out there. You can keep an eye on that, and I'll pick you back up. Now, it's not. This thing's not going to respawn if I just hang around here. So I don't think they ever do. I don't think artifacts or loot crates will show up if you're right next to them. So we're just going to hang around here, wait a while, and then we'll see. Oh, there you go. Well, that was pretty quick. I've noticed sometimes, like on the second one tends to show up pretty quickly, but subsequent ones can take a bit of a while. So see if we can sneak up on this one again. Ever so slowly. Oh, right, okay, that time we fell off. No worries. What we'll do is we'll grapple our way back out again. Because I mean, I can go that way. I'll show you. If we head this way, you end up, there's like a ravine over there, and you're going to have to grapple your way out that way, so it's not really in my interests to head that way. Unless, as I say, you're after things like the loot crates and what have you, but personally I'm not going to bother. You notice when I came out there I hit the wall. It was feasible I could have literally come off that wall and end up falling into there, mind. So I've got to be very, very careful. I think it'll take longer for the next one to show up. So we're going to hang around here, wait for the rest to turn up, and that's basically it. I'm just going to collect the artifacts, because to me it's, yeah, there will be loot crates that'll show up every now and again, but to be honest, I just don't think it's worth it for what I need. Too risky. I don't want to lose the otter. I can get myself back, but I can't get the otter back. So we're going to hang around here, get all of those, get as many of the artifacts that I think I need, and I'll see you back at base. Right then, so we managed to get back to base. I brought quite a few artifacts back with us, so it's only fitting to put this one on the trophy base. So that means we're only one more artifact, we're only one artifact short, and that's one that we'll be using for the dragon. So, yeah, it's kind of a shame really we don't actually have a Rex army, because I mean we haven't even gotten around to taking on the Megapithecus yet, let alone, you know, starting the dragon. And that's really the key thing. But I mean, as far as the Skylord goes, I mean, to be honest, I think that could have gone a lot easier if I'd done it more properly. Basically, I think the actual the Sabertooth, Jasmine, I think she was taking more damage from me than the bats. If I'd like thrown her out and then jumped straight on her, it would have gone a lot more easy, I'm sure. But also, I think I was, like, you know, doing more damage with a shotgun than the bats were. So it was a case I should have been a lot more careful, you know, with that shotgun. But I mean, anyway, we got there. I mean, it was definitely, to me, it felt a bit easier than doing it on my own, especially since I didn't have the armor and what have you. It's just a case of, you know, pop her out into that one chamber, you know, off you go and clear it up. There wasn't that many, you know, bats or spiders around, oddly enough. But I think I was only waiting for about like 8 minutes for an artifact to respawn. I was just going to that little chamber where I was leaving Jasmine, hanging around there for 8 minutes, and then pop, up came the next artifact. So the first two were pretty quick, but there was about like an 8-minute interval after that. And I was just like edging up against the wall, kept checking to see if the artifact was reachable. If not, I was just edging ever so, you know, slowly forwards until I could reach it. So I never had to go back down again or grapple back out. So it was pretty easy to do that. I mean, wow, that thing looks really cool. I think I haven't really noticed that much. Like, I mean, I normally do put these things out in a nice row, and usually I'll have, like, you know, some of them down that side and some of them down that side. But it's interesting watching them rotate on the actual base, because you can see all the different colours getting reflected in them, and that's really cool. That, I must admit. But anyway, we've got all those artifacts, but we're kind of starting a stall now because we just don't have a decent Rex army, and that's what I definitely need. So, as far as Rex armies go, where are we at? Well, we've got one male over here who's got 6 levels in health. To be honest, if I'd spent more time, you know, hunting for a decent Rex, trying to tame up more, I think I could have done better. I mean, this dude here, he's got 10,000 base health versus 7,700. I'm pretty sure I could have gotten an 8,000 out of there if I'd, you know, tamed up a lot more Rexes until I'd got to that point, and then that would have saved me a lot of time. Because if you think this is like a 247 versus a 259, and it gets harder and harder to, you know, to get more mutations when the levels are further apart. But yeah, we are where we are. Similar for the melee. I mean, this dino here, she's got 5 levels in melee. That's getting us to 384. Now, I did start. Well, I bred her with the male over there to get a male, and I started breeding him with those 4 females. But haven't had much joy. And then when I checked the M4 dino, that was on 372 melee, so I wouldn't have hit this nice round 400 number that I'd been aiming for. But again, if I'd probably spent more time, you know, trying to get a decent level Rex, I probably would have had a lot easier time, you know, being able to get these sort of levels anyway. But yep, it is what it is. So where do we go from here? Well, my original plan was to get a dinosaur with high health and a dinosaur with high melee, breed those two together, and then I was then going to start getting like these coloured dinos. I've got tons of them in cryopods. The plan was I wanted to have like lots of different coloured Rexes, but because it's taking me so much time, and because of my experience with the baryonyx, the baryonyx was really difficult. I think I spent so much time breeding that baryonyx to get high levels and the sort of colours that I want, that by the time I got there, I'd probably ran out of use for it, to be honest. I don't want to do that with the Rexes, because otherwise these videos are just going to pretty much stall. So I really need to get on with these. So it's going to be very difficult getting the sort of like colours. You know, I can breed up dinos that have got all the colours I need. That's going to take me a long time, and then trying to breed those against, you know, dinos that their offspring. That's going to be even harder to do. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock that plan on the head. I still do want colours. I mean, he's not so bad. He's got like blue with a bit of green. So the plan is I'm going to take him, breed him with her, and so that we get a male and 4 females that have got their health and melee. Now that gives us our base breeding team, if you will. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to then just basically just get them to churn out a lot of eggs. I'll just keep hatching those until I get different colours. See what sort of colours, what variations, if any, we get. And then I'll probably use those to then start imprinting maybe, or I might set them aside to breed with other offspring to try and get the sort of colours. And then imprint their offspring. So we'll see how it goes. But it's a bit of a shame because I've got tons of Rexes and cryopods, tons of colours. I mean, these ones popped out while I was getting him to breed with these. Now I do really like this You know, like this cream colour, for instance, is like a nice light green that we've got over there, the bright white we've got over there. Even the light grey, I mean, you get those in the wild, but yeah, I think I've got to start getting realistic here, because I've got to get myself a Rex army going. But a Rex army, or any army for that matter, it's only going to be as good as the support you give it. We've got a Utrianus that's it's providing like a courage roar, so it gets them like resistance to damage. It also gives them a melee buff, so they can hand out more damage and they can take more damage. But the real thing that I want is to be able to get them decent saddles. I need saddles for the Megatheriums, I need saddles for the Rexes, and that means doing a lot more, you know, loot runs basically. So things like this, for instance. Ow, ow, ow. Ow, ow, ow. Blooming X. Blooming piranhas. Annoying creatures. Oh, that was lucky there was a blooming raptor came in. But I mean, look, I mean, like there, for instance, that's just give me a like a Mastercraft Daedon saddle just by going, you know, after one of those red loot crates that's got the, you know, the little ring around it. So it's a case of going after loot basically. I have to find better armor, better weapons for myself, better saddles for the Rexes, for the Megatheriums. We will be going after Alloas later on, and I'll need to get them some decent saddles, and as luck would have it, I actually already do have a decent Alloa saddle. I'll just show you that one. There, got a 79.9 Allosaurus saddle. Now the Rex one, on the other hand, that kind of sucks, to be honest. It's not that, it's better. I mean, the base saddle is 25. This is a 52. So it is better, but I mean, really, I want something even better than that. I want something in the 80s. It doesn't have to necessarily be Ascendant. I've normally found that it's I can get Mastercraft. If I spend a lot of time out there looking for decent saddles, I can get a Mastercraft one, and it usually ends up as a bit of a balance on the requirements. Because interestingly enough, I mean, I'll go over where these places I look for loot are, but I do actually have an Ascendant Rex saddle. I've been spending quite a bit of time going around trying to get loot. I've actually put it aside. I'll show you that in the next episode, because it actually made me think it'll probably be worthwhile actually doing a video showing you where the places I get this sort of loot from, and we can go over, you know, what we get out of the different you know, the different types of loot crates. I don't need two of those, so I can get rid of that. Yeah, I was like really excited when we got this, like an Ascendant Rex saddle, but then you look at the requirements, it's like, whoa, that's going to take me forever and ever to get. I mean, if you're really lucky, you'll get a decent Ascendant saddle that's got fairly low like requirements, and that's the big thing. Is, I mean, you've got to spend I mean, if you think about it, I'm going to be creating an army of Rexes, 19 Rexes to go into a boss fight. That means 19 saddles. Now that's 4,000 hide just for a single saddle. So that's a lot of grinding we'd have to do to get, you know, 19 Allosaurus saddles, for instance. And if you think that's bad, just wait till you see what this Ascendant saddle looks like. I mean, that's... I honestly, I don't know if I could spend the time to do it. It needs so many. But on the other hand, if I don't get like another one, I might have to. So we'll just have to see. But this, you know, getting a decent saddle is pretty much make or break. You can't go into like an alpha fight without a decent saddle. You've got to have something in the 80s. I mean, I might be able to get away with something like that as a scratch, but you really want something in the 80s. And as I say, it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, Mastercraft or Ascendant. It's just the actual amount. There's no durability on these things. All we're interested in is how much armor does it actually give the dinosaur. And then it's going to be a bit of a balance as to how many resources it needs, because if we lose an actual dinosaur in a boss fight, we've got to replace the dinosaur. That means spending time to breed it again, spending time to level it up again. But you've then got to then make another saddle, because you've got a very limited time to be able to pick up any saddles, you know, if a dino dies in a boss arena. So if you don't get that saddle, you're going to have to rebuild the saddle as well, which means, you know, more grinding. So it's a bit of a balancing act. But I mean, it's not, as I say, it's not just the saddles. I want better weapons for me. I mean, I've got a pretty good Mastercraft assault rifle there, which is not bad. I've even managed to find some Ascendant flak boots while I've been out and about, so I could quite fancy those. I think let's have a look. If you look at those, I mean, the base ones are 100. Now they're about almost 420, but the resource requirements are actually quite low, so that could be good. And these are the sort of things I need to, you know, to be able to go into a boss fight with. So I think that's going to be pretty much the plan for the next episode, is going out and trying to find, you know, where we can get decent loot from. And while that's going on, I'll get started with building up our next Rex army. So this is going to be like Gen 2, and I think, to be honest, I think when we get to Scorched Earth, I'm quite tempted to actually build a Gen 3. Scorched Earth's a much smaller map. Now that one, it should be easier to get Rexes, so in theory it should be easier to get the Tech Rexes as well if I put the time into it. But I want to be able to get off this island with the Rexes that we get from here. So, two things to do is, one, go after more and better loot, and two, get on with this Rex army, get it ready, so we can start taking on the Megapithecus. So that's it for this video. I do hope you've enjoyed watching it. If so, then do please leave a like, as that'll help me out a great deal. If you're new to the channel and you'd like to see more content like this, then yeah, do please subscribe. Just remember to click the little bell icon, because then you get notifications when I send new content out. And if you've got any comments, any suggestions, want to leave any feedback at all, please post that in the comment section below. Until the next episode, thanks very much for watching. Bye!